Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. We're doing well over here. We're now in the swing of summer. Loving it. It's going to be, what, over 100 today? 105, which is almost good. 110, 115, that's when we're in the good zone. Anyway, that's just me. So, I am finally going to get after redoing the videos on the Live to Ride sign. So I can't believe it, but it's been 9 years since Dad and I actually did the original videos on the making of this sign. So it's time to redo it. Anyway, a lot has changed. The information is still pretty much the same, but we're using different bits. Some of the processes are different. That sign that I did back on videos, and this will tell you how long it is, videos 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. 7 different videos. I'm hoping to get this done from start to finish in 3 videos. That's what I'm hoping. So, yeah, 9 years ago, crazy. So, anyway, the ones that we did back then, it was really bad film equipment, and Dad and I had no idea what we were doing from a film standpoint. So, fortunately, now we have a professional behind the camera, and I'm hoping to get a lot better shots of exactly what I'm doing here. And now we're going to do it out of pine, whereas back then we used perfect plank. So, and back then we had, it was a different, actually a little bit different process, or a different pattern actually. It had the bar and the shield, which we don't use the shield anymore. And there's videos on that as well. Anyway, so first things first, we're going to get into the layout and the cutting of the shape. So I'm not going to do the cutting of the shape on here because we have so many videos that show you how to cut this shape. So go watch the playlist, Cutting Shapes with the Router. And there's I think 12 or 14 videos in there about how I get this shape cut. So that's kind of redundant. I really don't want to go over that because we've done so many videos on it. So what we're going to do on the next scene, we're going to get right into the layout and hopefully get into the carving like ASAP. So we'll be right back. All right, so now I'm starting with the piece already cut, like I talked about. Go look at those other videos on how to cut this shape. Now, this piece is already, because it's pine, I put the sanding sealer on it. Just like you guys know, when I get my pine back from Lowe's where I buy it, I always put sanding sealer on it just to minimize the possibility of, what am I? Yeah, minimizing the possibility of bleeding when I spray my black, which I'm going to do right now. Are the girls singing over there?
Yeah.
We've got our granddaughters over there painting, doing some painting, and so that's our background music that you hear. Yes. Anyway, it's a family operation here, not real fancy. So, you can see this little squiggly line here. What that is once in a while, if my pine has been sitting around for a while, it will kind of get little checks in it, little weather checks or whatever, even though I don't leave it outside. It was inside the cave, but it got little weather checks. So what I do is I always inspect my boards. If I get little things like that, I use the Star Bond gap filler and fill it, and that's what that was. So it should be just fine. Anyway, so this has got sanding sealer on it. Let's do the layout. So I have my 2-piece Live to Ride layout template. Now this is something that I get questions on every once in a while, is that because I've used an oversized cutter or the template guide to cut that shape, it's not exactly the same size, but that's okay. Actually, I prefer it that way. Down here, I won't even mess with it. It won't matter at all. And these lines come clear out to the end, so I'm just gonna, when I get to carving, I'm gonna bring those clear out to the end. And the cool thing is if there's extra room around here and up here, it just leaves me more background, because anything that's outside of these feathers is all going to be background. You can see how we have a little bit of, on this 1/8" birch, once in a while we have a little bit of warpage or cuppage, but we're going to handle that. So here's what we're going to do. I use these little cheap clamps, and I'm just going to clamp each corner down. I'm doing this kind of upside down. I'm hoping I have enough of these. It's not bad there. I definitely need to clamp this down. Yeah, that'll hold that in place. And I think I can put one right there. Yeah, the fact that that line is going to be covered is not going to matter to me. I can always, yeah, see, everything seems to be down pretty good now. So what I'm going to do, any place that isn't down, I'll use this popsicle stick when I spray. Now what I'm going to do is a little bit different on this one. I'm going to use the Live to Ride, but I'm using the Western version, which we have that. We have like Live to Ride, Ride to Live, Born to Ride. Yeah, we have got several different versions. So the old videos from years ago, we didn't have these available, but Dad made these up. So what I'm going to do is I will be putting that in there and spraying that. But see how that has a little bit of bend to it? So I'll hold one side down as I start spraying. Let me get my, so I'm using the primer, but I could be using the ink just as well. They both work pretty much the same for me. Oh, now the dogs are going nuts over there.
It's nice, everybody's coming to life.
Yeah. All right, so then I'm going to hold that down. So this is, you know, if you guys get these little warpages and stuff in there, you can use a series of clamps, or just like I'm using a popsicle stick, but I could use a pencil or a dowel or whatever. So there's a little bit of variance there. Oops. Oh yeah, and I have it, by the way, I have it blocked up so that these clamps are up off of the table. Again, I don't really want to overspray. You don't need much spray in there to give you good lines to go by. Just kind of working my way over. This is all pretty flat over here. But from one pattern to the next, you may have some little curls to this birch sometimes. That's how I deal with it. Let's see. Gosh, everything looks pretty good. I think I'm pretty good there. All right, let's take that off and see what it looks like. These end up, by the way, again, the original video, these were 1-inch letters in here. These, because of that bar on the bottom, they are about 7/8 tall, I think. A little less than 1 inch. So that gives me a pretty good line to go by. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to come back and draw some lines on there just to make sure everything is where I want it to be, and we'll get into the carving. All right, so now I know that I've seen this many times where you guys might not feel confident enough to do these outset letters, being as you've got some really tight areas here, and it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I haven't done a lot of small outset Western letters, so that's really the reason I wanted to put this in here, because it'll be kind of a lesson on just that. But anyway, if you wanted to make these inset, you could absolutely do that as well. But the way I'm going to do it is it's going to be done much like this, where the letters are going to be outset. Did I mess you up? No. Letters are going to be outset inside of that bar. So what I have to do is I'm going to complete all of these lines. The reason that these are all like separated lines is because if I didn't, then the layout pattern would just fall apart. So the inside of that, where the black is, this is all going to be cut away. So I want to just make sure, and then I have to, because of the way that layout template is, this line down there kind of disappeared. So I have to draw that in as well. And just understand that all of this stuff is going to be cut away black like this. So it's just the way it is when that's all one piece.
Stencil to hold it together.
Yeah. And it works out really well. You can see how fast it is to lay this thing out. It really makes it nice. So now, if you wanted to, you could just to make sure that you make sure that you cut that away. You could go in and black all that stuff out. I'm not going to, but I'm going to show you guys if you wanted to, just to keep the confusion down. You could black all that out. Then that would look like that. Got excited. All right, so that's that. The other thing is, these you could connect all of this stuff. I'm not going to, but again, if it makes it easier for you, you could connect all that stuff. These lines here are all connected. This is all going to be the ribbon kind of behind the bar, and it goes clear out to the edge. So it's just little things here and there. Let's see. Then, you could fill in these lines here. I've carved so many of them that I don't need to do that, but you certainly could.
Let me, let's see if I can kind of get it.
Oh, there you go.
So that's what it...
Yeah, that's what you can see, that these lines that are missing here, this is what we want it to look like. So you could fill those in. Again, I've done so many of them that I know exactly where those lines are supposed to be. But here's our little, beak kind of thing. This is our little lower jaw with the hook in there, like that. This is the eyeball. Anyway, so you can fill in whatever, we give you almost all of the lines, but there are a few of them there that you can fill in if you want to. And I know that I have seen some people do this carving and they didn't know really what that was supposed to look like. So, the jaw looked different. They lost this little hook or whatever. The jaw looked different. I like it to look just like that. So, that hopefully will kind of clear that whole thing up. So, that is about it, guys. The layout's done. We're going to come back and get into carving this thing. All right, let's get into this carving. I am excited to get this thing going. So I am going to use my carving liner. This is our new Amana carving liner, and I'm really fired up to be able to use that on this sign. And by the way, last Friday I talked about cleaning our router bits with soap and water and wire brush. But here's the thing, this had a little residue on it. I literally just used it dry and cleaned it off. So get yourself one of these things, guys, and just clean those bits. You can use hot soapy water, or you can do it, just dry. Anyway, that's really a good way to go. Especially if you don't have a Dremel and a wire wheel. Sorry about the sound. We got construction going on, evidently. My dad's running the saw, it sounds like. All right, so I don't know exactly what my depth is. I won't know exactly what's right because I got some really tiny spots in there. But when I get that depth, I will let you know. So let's do this. Put my cheaters on. Turn my lights on. And let's go. All right, guys. So now I want to tell you what depth I'm at. It took me a couple adjustments to get it figured out there. I think I'm about an eighth, right at an eighth. Just a hair past an eighth. Now the thing about this carving liner, I love.
The other way. You got all glare.
Oh. What?
Yeah, that way.
Okay. Do you want me to show it again? Or?
No.
Okay. So the thing about this carving liner, guys, is that I love the way it cuts, but it doesn't plunge really well the way the SC50 does. I love the way it cuts. It cuts better than the SC50. But it does have a little bit of problem plunging, which is just not a problem for me, but you'll feel it has a little resistance when you go straight in and plunge. And that's because it's got a little tiny flat at the bottom. But again, that's no problem for me. It cuts so much better than the SC50 that it's twice the bit that the SC50 is, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's move on. right, guys, so now I've done my first cut on those, and if you guys watched any videos before where I did real fine detail, you'll know that I'll go around those letters again to give myself some extra room. But another thing that you'll know if you, again, watch very many of my videos is my rule is to figure out what bit that I use is I'm only going to use this carving liner to do absolutely everything that I need to do with it. Other than that, I want to use the profile bit as much as I possibly can because it cuts better, it cuts a little fatter line, but I am done. Right now, those letters look good to me. The inside of the box going around these letters, I can absolutely do that with a profile bit. So I'm going to change bits. Actually, I'm going to use a different router. So I can leave this in case I happen to nick one of these letters with the profile bit. I'm going to try to avoid that, but if I do, I'm going to go ahead and leave this router set up with the carving liner, and I'm going to go in with the profile bit, cut the inside of that box, and then go around these letters. So we'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I have got the profile bit in, and I've got it set to about 3/16 deep. So hopefully, Vicky's not behind the camera right now, so I'm hoping this shows up pretty well. I'm going to turn my lights back on my router. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this box, and then I'll take away everything in between the box and the letters, hopefully. Here we go. Okay, guys, let me explain something here. And those of you that have made this sign before, by far the most difficult line to cut is this one right here. And why that is because literally, gosh, I don't have that other sign, but there's no room for error. This isn't cut away. This isn't cut away. So there's really no room for error there. If you make a bobble, now if you go back and watch, you'll see that I kind of, I brought the depth up a little bit. Not quite as deep there, that if I did get a bobble that I needed to fix, I can always go just a hair deeper in order to do that. Right now, actually, it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna mess with it. I might clean that up right there, just a hair. But actually, it looks pretty good. I held a pretty good line on that. But again, why this and not this? Because this is all going to be background. Other than these feathers, this stuff's all going to be cut away. On the inside, this is all going to be cut away. If I've got a bobble, it wouldn't matter because on this side, on the inside, it's all going to be cut away. This one, I know it's going to show up just like it is. So that's the reason that this is definitely the toughest line. That long straight line, that's the one where the pressure is the highest to make sure that that comes out as good as it can. I am going to trim that just a hair right there in that spot. Then the other thing is this line has no room for error either, but it's really short. This long straight line, that's the one that I know if I can get past that line, the rest of it is just, it's cake. So anyway, guys, we're going to come right back. I'm going to take a look at my depth on there, and we're going to go around those live to ride letters inside to give us some more room. All right, guys and gals, I'm now set at about 1/4 of an inch deep with my profile bit, and let's get this, give me some more room inside this box. Alright guys, I think we got a lot done on this video. We're going long, so we're gonna stop it right here, and then on the next video, which will be Monday's video, that's when we'll move on with the carving and see how far we can get on the next video. But we went really long on this one, but I really wanted to get this much done, so not bad considering, you know, it's still the first video. Anyway, so that's it, guys. If you have any questions, as always, eric@makeawwoodsign.com. Please email me directly. And I'm having a blast doing this. Hope it's informational for you guys. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. So give me some comments, give me some feedback, let me know what you think. One more piece of business is a week, in about a week, a week from right now, Vicki and I are going to Alaska. We'll have videos the whole time we're gone. We're stacking them up right now, so hopefully by the, well, yeah, this will be all done by the time we get back. But again, we're going to be meeting with some people in Seattle. If you guys are interested, email me. Email Vicki if you're interested. If you're going to be in the Seattle area about the middle of the day on Wednesday the 26th, that's when we'll be flying, and we've got a little break in Seattle before we catch our plane to Alaska. So if you're interested in that, email me or email Vicki, vickywithdavescience@gmail.com. We'd love to meet with you and hang out for an hour or so, have some lunch. So I hope you guys are doing well. We will see you. We'll see you on Friday. Friday will be our Friday Live, and we got some great things going on. So hope you guys are having a great week, and we'll see you on Friday. We love you. Bye-bye.